what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are back with one of my favorite projects I've done in a while, actually, and that's saying something. But this is going to be out early on the Patreon, so if you're watching this on the Patreon, thank you for supporting. If you're watching it on the YouTube, you got it about a week late, maybe a little less than that. But basically, what we're going to do here is talk about how good vibe coding actually is, right? We talk about AI all the time, and we talk about different things about how we know AI is going to take over a lot of stuff, but how good is it actually, right? Like, can we use it now to actually create stuff, or is it just kind of a niche thing, right? And so first thing we're going to cover is what is vibe coding. So here's the Wikipedia page for vibe coding. And you can see it's an AI dependent programming technique where a person describes a problem in a few sentences as a prompt to an LLM, and the LLM basically codes for you. Now, what does that mean, right? That means, hey, I'm going to go to an LLM and I'm going to say, here's what I'm looking for. Here's the issue I'm running into. Give me an example of, what is the best way to do this, right? And it will usually say, well, here's an example of a Python program, whatever. And you say, okay, I like that Python program. Let's dive into that a little bit. And can you build me out an application, right? And different models, as we know, are designed for different things. But I'm going to show you guys I used in this case lovable.dev. And this was actually recommended to me by a SANS instructor. And so I checked it out. And it's actually pretty awesome. I have to admit, here's an application I built using vibe coding. And I'm going to talk about why this actually worked, and then some of the downsides and stuff like that. And is it where it needs to be to completely replace coders and things like that? So we'll dive into it and talk about it a little bit more. Again, this is early on the Patreon, so if you guys like this type of content and you want to see more of it, check out the Patreon in the description below, because I actually have like hundreds of videos in there as well, and we upload an extra video every week in there, so check that out. Plus you get resume reviews and mock interviews and one-on-ones with me and everything else. So all right, first things first, all I did on this lovable.dev, and we're going to build one to show you guys, is I would say this is maybe 7 or 8 prompts. I put in my general idea, right? And then I basically said, hey, I want to monitor systems. I want to monitor external systems. And what that means is it started with just certificates. I thought of a quick OSINT, hey, with OSINT, one of the biggest things we check first is certificates. So I was like, okay, let me check the certificates. And you can see there's some things I need to fix. Like it by default shows 0 certificates. If you just filter out by wildcard certs, these, you start to see the certificates, right? Now you can see, here's the cool thing. See, it says google.com. I can change this to github.com. I can change this to, and by the way, this is all just mock data in here. So just know that. And then here's all domains. And if you look, well, there's none in this one because it's mock data. But I can click on these and say, hey, give me some details about it. Hey, this is a wildcard cert for Twitter. It expires this time. It's made by Let's Encrypt, blah, blah. It's a security score of 90. Pretty good. Security score, pretty good. So right off the bat, I could put my domains if I had a company that needed monitoring. Put my domains in there. Have it automatically start pulling that from different APIs like cert.sh and all that stuff. And it will tell me, hey, this is awesome. I can check real quick. Here's our certs. Here's when they expire. It's kind of a cert tracker, but for public information, which is really, really nice. And then I can go, okay, so let's keep going with the all domains. Let's go to leaked secrets. Keep in mind, this is all mock data. This is another benefit. It actually created the mock data for me. I didn't have to generate any data. I literally said, also include mock data in your presentation. Well, now we go in here, and you can see this is leaked secrets. Well, I can go to this leaked secrets. Here's the password that it's saying the constant secret equals NZU83G, right? I can put in here a little quick note. This is a placeholder, not real secret. Whatever, it doesn't really matter, right? And I can say, hey, that's a false positive. Save that note, and you can see right there, it actually changed it to false positive. And you can see, obviously, this one didn't work yet. So you can see there's some things that still need work, right? Because you notice it's not saving. Everything works, but I can't save it. Well, now I would go back to the application prompt, which is right here, and I would say, I am trying to remediate the, actually did it change it to, no, I'm trying to remediate the leaked secrets, but the save function doesn't work. And you hit enter, and you'll see it will actually add this functionality live in this application right now. And so as that's going, we can keep talking about it. But you can see we got critical, we got highs, we got lows, we got all that stuff, right? And again, these are all just mock data. So you see that the source of it is source config, blah, blah. Well, what this would actually monitor is you would put like your company's GitHub or your company's public repositories and things like that, and it would monitor, right? And there's companies out there that do this already. Like, you don't need to go build one yourself. There's companies that do this way better than this simple application, but we're looking at the functionality of what took. This would probably take somebody months to build, and it took, an hour maybe. So this data sentry is the name of, and you notice it says certificate transparency monitoring. I would change all that stuff. And you can see here, it says they saved it. So let's see if it actually worked. We may have to refresh it, but we'll see. So if we go here and we say, we want false positive, make the investigation. This was a false positive, placeholder credential, right? Whatever. Save note. And your investigation notes have been saved successfully. We close it. And you can see, let me see if it's the same one. Okay, that's a different one. Which one did I click on? I don't even remember. Okay, let's just click on this one and see if it actually changes. So we'll say false positive. This was a false positive. And we'll see what it does. Save it, close it. Okay, and you notice it's not changing anything. So right again, the save function tells us that it worked, but it's not saving the changes we're making. They are reverting back every time I close it. Oh wait, maybe I did. It's because I'm not confirming. That could be why. Let's say. No, there's no confirmation. So, all right. So we'll hit that, and we'll let it live update. And you just go through this, and it's doing all the code for you. You don't have to do this. So think of how long this, or how much time this saves, right? Now, I don't want to go to too many pages while it's actually changing them, but I can go to vulnerabilities. And you can see this is where you'd put your patching status, right? Your CVEs, you'd have them fed into here in your vulnerability management tool, and it would look, hey, 8.0 CVSS score just came out. It's a new status. Well, here we go. It's on a Linux React server. Here's the references to it. Gives us information about it. And then you can see it says patch, not applicable, investigating. This is all stuff that would come from your vulnerability management tool. So this is more of an, this tool itself would be more of like an intelligence tool, like a, basically like a, not quite threat intelligence, but defensive intelligence tool. And I would go through, and I'm going to build this way more out. Like, this is just kind of, it took me about an hour, and really 99% of it's just waiting here, right? So then you go to analytics, and this is just based on the certificate. And you can see, hey, 2 certificates were published on April 10th, blah, blah. And keep in mind, this is all fake data, right? So just keep that in mind. And then you can see here, security alerts. Right now, there's 0 potentially suspicious certificates. Well, if you regenerate this, it'll put suspicious alerts in here. So now you can see like it just changed. Well, it just changed because, as it says build unsuccessful. Watch this. And I'm glad it did this. If it fails, if there's an issue, you click try to fix it. And watch this. Something messed up the code, right? and it will just fix it for you. Like, this sounds crazy that we're in a world now where, like, I used to do some of this stuff and it would take me months. I'm not a coder. I'm not a programmer. I know how to code and I do code. I don't do it like the way this is done, right? Like, I usually code things like for a pen testing tool or something like that. I'm not doing all this stuff, right? So now you see, okay, there we go. The error should now be resolved. So you can see they changed this. That's fine. I don't really care. I could always say, hey, I don't like the display now, blah, blah. So now we go to this. Okay, this is a false positive. See if it actually changed it now. And I'm going to show you there we go, false positive. Oh, it changed it without asking me. There we go. This is a false positive. Is it just going to the next one? Is that why it's doing that? There we go. And then now it's saved. This is a false positive. So just like that, I can start fixing and making these changes without really having to go dive into this code. The vulnerabilities, same thing. Go in here, get my information, get my stuff. And you can really, really, really build some complex applications very quickly. Now, is this going to do everything for you? No, but it's going to save you so much time. Like, watch, I'm going to click Start Live Monitoring, and I'm going to do, let's just do google.com, right? And we'll say google.com, Start Live Monitoring. And you'll watch, and again, keep in mind, this is not real data. But if it actually produces any, it was producing some before, but I was doing, I think it was doing Twitter basically is what it was doing before. But we'll go into alerts, nothing there. Oh, it failed the build, so we'll try to fix that. And then once it builds it, blah, blah, we'll go ahead and dive into it. But I mean, just looking at this saves a lot of work because you can tailor it. You can, if you look, you can attach files. I can upload logos and stuff like that and say, hey, actually, I want these logos to come in. I want this to happen, right? And you can do all that. So I can tailor this a lot. The other thing is, I don't necessarily need it to be perfect. I just need it to just save me that time of doing the same code I've done 100 times or building out this application. And you can see this live monitoring, it just came in new. See, as they pop in, I'm getting live results, right? Certificates, I'm getting live results, right? So you can see these are live things happening and it's updating the feed constantly. I can do that anytime I want. So it's actually really, really useful. It's really, really nice. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how easy this is. So all we're going to do is go in here and go to our dashboard. Okay, so now we're in the dashboard. And so right here in the dashboard, I'm going to show you guys. I used Gemini right here, and I'm grabbing the code or the concept for the code. I just asked Gemini to give me some ideas, and it says coding a custom. It's a long prompt, but I'll show it to you guys. Is just coding a custom data encoding decoding tool for command and control. Okay, I'll put that exact in here. I'm just showing you that you can do this whole thing with AI, right? And I'm just gonna say, go ahead and do that. I'm not even gonna change anything. I was gonna change it, and sometimes I add a couple of context things, but I just want to see what it comes up with completely by itself, right? And you'll see it's going to basically give us a encode on command on one side, and it'll obfuscate it on the other. And the reason for that is what's going to actually happen is, let's say I'm trying to do C2 where, maybe I'm like exfilling with DNS or something like that. Well, what happens with DNS is it can only use 63 characters, and there's, you got to actually encode it and all this other stuff to make it actually work the way you want. This can do it for me, right? I don't have to figure out, okay, so if I do ls and how do I encode that command properly? You can do that. It's not that difficult, but I want to show you guys. It's creating this whole application right now in a matter of minutes, right? Compared to this, depending on what it pops up, right? This would take me weeks to make, right? Depending on, again, what pops up. It might be really simplistic and dumb, and then it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. But if you give it more, the more detail you give it, right, the more information you give it, the more prompts you do, it's going to start building on that. And you can see, look at how easy this is right now. So the command to send, let's say ls tac la, right? And it doesn't matter what you do. Send to listener. There you go. And the key, lovable.dev is the key here. Whoops. Oh, they already had it in here. You type the key, and it's ls tac la. So right here, you can literally encode the commands, and then on the listener, decode the commands. Do you know how nice that is? I can send out whatever I want, right, on here. Excuse me. And then I can go over to my listener and grab the output and decode anything on here, right? That is so nice. Now, a lot of you might say, the argument I'm going to hear a lot is, well, CyberChef does this. CyberChef doesn't do this, okay? Understand the difference. You can encode on CyberChef, but there are limitations, and there are different things that you would have to play with on CyberChef to make it do a lot of what, like, we're talking about with C2 or C2. This can, I mean, you can just do a little bit of prompting and make this extremely useful, right? You could say this could be just a testing ground, right? Hey, I know if I type ls tac la, I'm going to get some of these results, right? I need to check if it'll decode them. I need to put a key in there, because if an attacker gets it, I don't want them to be able to see it either. All this other stuff, right? So right there, I can really start playing with this and add a lot of value. And that took 5 minutes, maybe. So I'm not 100% advocating for vibe coding yet, because, I'll say this, I'm advocating for it to build your foundations. But you can see the thing I love about this Lovable, and I don't know how many of you guys use this, but you can actually publish it. You can manage it with Supabase, which is like a database, but you can publish it directly to GitHub. So I don't need to, I can take this, publish it directly to GitHub. Now I have a live working app that I can download and use in my GitHub environment. I don't have to do anything. That is incredible to me. We can go from a couple of prompts to having a full GitHub repo in a matter of 5-10 minutes with valid, actual live, applications. So this is a little bit wild to me that it's this good. I've done some vibe coding, but I've never had it build full apps for me like this. And so this is actually really, really useful. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys think this is really useful, if you guys think, hey, I'm not going to use this, or, vibe coding is not my thing, let me know. I'm curious, is there something you guys use? Lovable is the one that I just happened to be recommended. I went and checked it out, was impressed with it, and thought this is something I should definitely make a video on. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, check out the Patreon, subscribe, all that stuff, and hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.